Hello everybody, welcome to my channel Clay Formations. If this is your first time here, thanks for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. You are awesome, amazing, and very much appreciated. Okay, let's get on with the sculpture. As some of you may be wondering by the title of this video, Futility, at the time I was feeling a little bit melancholy and introspective. Lots of things were happening at the time, you know, with my cat getting ill and then having to say goodbye to him and saying goodbye to friends that have passed. You start to feel a little bit melancholic. So what I do when that happens is I try to express it through my art, because that helps me process things and thoughts of this nature. So I decided to call this particular sculpture Futility. I think this is probably about the second sculpture that I've done concerning, you know, psychological things like futility, or I did one called Addiction that helped me process some of the things that people I know have gone through concerning addictions. So this will be my second one. I hope it turns out. Basically, what I was feeling was the futility of life. Not that life was bad, because, you know, life isn't bad. Life is wonderful. I have great friends. I have a great job, great family. But sometimes you just feel a little down, and you're trying to figure out what the meaning of life is. Sometimes we think we do, but most of the time we just accumulate things and create friendships and just go through life working and trying to enjoy it to the best of our ability. But sometimes you just feel like, boy, is this all there is? As Jack Nicholson says, is this as good as it gets? Well, maybe it is. So we just do the best we can with what we're given. Right about here, you can see that my forearms are getting quite fatigued. And if you can't see it, take my word for it, they were hurting. Ooh, ouch. Okay, now we start the texture of the rock. I wanted to make this look like a butte, like in Monument Valley or the Grand Canyon. Of course, it's quite exaggerated and stylized, but I still wanted it to look like a real rock. There we go. Now from the top we work our way down using the same texture technique. Just giving it the basic structure of what a rock like this would look like. Same characteristics. After doing this rock right here, I'm getting to this point and my hands and my forearms are killing me. So what we'll have to do from here after I get this done, waiting for it to cure, is we'll start on another part of the sculpture. And now we're going do is make our little mountain climber. I won't spoil it, but you'll find out what he'll be doing in a few minutes. So I was using my little figure. I call him the poser because he poses. I know. Bad dad joke there. Sorry, couldn't resist. What I do is I create the pose with Mr. Poser, and then I do the armature. It makes it a little easier to do. I have to use channel locks to keep it in place as I twist it around so it doesn't slip or move. By the way, if you like my videos and you've made it this far through and you'd like to see more, please consider subscribing to my channel. It's free and it helps me grow. Give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you know when new videos are posted. I put out a new video the first Saturday of every month. And I appreciate it. Thank you. Now that we've got the armature done, we can start sculpting our little mountain climber. As of now, things are going pretty good, but as I continue on creating the mountain climber, I run into a little bit of a problem with his head. But you'll find out about that in a little bit. Human anatomy is probably the most difficult things to sculpt. First off, we're all so familiar with it. We know how bodies are supposed to look, and when they don't look correct, if they're out of proportion or if an arm is too long, I don't always get it perfect. Sometimes I make things a little too skinny, but it's very hard to get it right. So you just have to keep working on it until you do, or until you're satisfied with the way it looks. And the pose of this was really difficult to get because the neck stretches as you're looking down, and I had to get the motion of the jawline and the neck and the position of the face going all in the correct direction. Also, I wanted to make him look really rough. I didn't want him to look completely realistic. I wanted to let him have a really good texture. It's right about here that I realized his head was way too big, so I had to make it a little smaller. There we go. Working on his expression, which is that of frustration. sadness maybe, disappointment. It's another thing about muscles. They, as you know, they contract and expand. They're never really static, so you have to keep that in mind when you're sculpting the figure. That is your particular muscle that you're working on. Is it going to be stretched out lengthwise, or will it be contracted, pulling it in? That squash and stretch of the sculpture is very important, because an extended leg or arm is not going to look the same as a contracted leg or arm. As you can see, the hook goes down into the jig. That's going to be helpful later on in the sculpture. I had to make sure that he was connected securely to the rock formation. All right, and as I usually do on certain parts of a sculpture before I tackle hands or feet, I'll move on to something else. What I'm doing now is applying the Flex and Fill slurry coat to the rock. Now that the Flex and Fill is cured and hardened, we'll attach the mountain climber. Here's how the hook will come in handy as it's attached to the brass tubing on the rock. Cover it with some Epoxy Sculpt and it's secure there forever. Won't move at all. I've installed a special switch for pieces of the sculpture that take me a long time. All I have to do is flip the switch and it's done. Not too bad, huh? Now to dry brush the outside of the rock. Bring out the details. Now that we've got the outside of the rock completed, now we can finish the mountain climber. we'll attach the hands and the feet to the rope. This is also epoxy sculpt because it's going to be imperative that the rope is very strong and secure on both parts of the hand and the foot. Because otherwise, if I did this with Sculpey, it would be too fragile. And now that our foot is secured, we can move on to the hand. And as you can see, he is at the end of his rope. He can't go any higher because his foot is tied to the ground, and if he lets go, he'll fall. He can't go up, nor can he go down, which is futility. Sometimes you can't go up, and sometimes you can't go down. The best we can do is just live our lives to the fullest and never let go of the rope. You just keep gripping tighter. And now, our time is up.